welcome to Good Vibration Therapy. I'm your host, James Uberti, and if you've landed here, it's absolutely no accident. It means that you're ready to learn how to raise your vibration to live as healthy and happy as can be. In today's episode, I'm going to uncover one of the most powerful steps to stop worrying about worst-case scenarios and outcomes. So if you find yourself worrying a lot about things going wrong, then this podcast is for you. So let's get started. So this is a personal podcast close to my heart because I suffered from this quite a bit early on until I found the secret or the strategy that I'm about to share with you today. So bottom line is this, look, worrying is stressful. It's destructive and often fuels emotional stress and anxiety. The shocking truth, according to recent statistics, is that 90% of the things that we worry about don't even happen. In fact, only 10% of the things that we worry about actually do happen to us, and of that 10%, 5% of the time, we have the power to change its outcome in our favor. So in other words, 95% of the things that we worry about don't actually happen to us, or if they did, we have the power, the control to change it in our favor. So the remaining 5% of the things that we worry about that actually do happen to us, there's not a thing that you can do about it. So technically, when you look at worrying from this type of angle, worrying is counterproductive. It's stressful, it's stupid, it's a waste of time. Because you have control, either it's not going to happen or you have the power to make sure that it favors you and not going against you. So when you look at worrying this way, is false evidence appearing real and exaggerations and misperceptions. So when you find yourself worrying about something, stop and say this one thing: 95% of the things that I'm worrying about right now will not happen. And unless there is a bear on your back or you're currently on fire, you got this. There is nothing to worry about because you are in full control 95% of the time. In the 5% of the time that you have no control, there's not a thing you can do about it. So when I'm consulting with my clients on this aspect of worry and anxiety, I say, hey, look, do this. Don't worry about a thing until it happens. Otherwise, you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your vibration on something that is not going to happen. Worry and stress causes anxiety and also promotes weight gain. It produces cortisol. Cortisol is the number one hormone that produces belly fat. So taking this one principle, this one statistic, and thinking about this every time that you have a worry about a negative outcome or a stressful thing that you're worrying about, then put this into practice. And I know it's easier said than done, so that's why I'm going to talk to you about a very effective breathing strategy that I've incorporated called the transformative breathing strategy that will help you rewire and refire a new program because you have a bias, you have a negative bias towards negative thoughts and negative outcomes. So when you think about this particular strategy, I want you to do the following. So anytime that you have a negative thought or you worry about an outcome that isn't going to be in your favor, or fear, which is false evidence appearing real, I want you to breathe in through your nose that everything goes your way. What I mean by that is when you breathe in, I want you to think everything goes my way. Everything goes my way. Everything's going to be okay. So when you breathe that in, I want you to breathe it in deeply, and I want you to exhale it through your mouth as aggressively as you inhale through your nose. And I want you to do that like this. Inhale, everything goes my way. Everything's going to be okay. And then you exhale anything that doesn't serve you, the negative thought that you're currently having, the fear of whatever it is that you're facing currently. Like if you're driving and there's a police behind you and you think you're going to get pulled over, just breathe in deeply, saying everything goes my way, everything's going to be okay. Use this strategy for every negative thought or outcome that you fear, that you worry about that's going to happen. I want you to do this repetitively over and over again. Again, you have a negative bias. I know this personally because I had this negative bias. I had this pre-wired, fired program that basically went to the negative every single time, and it just destroyed my life with fear and anxiety. And I learned, you know what? What a waste of time. Why not do this strategy every time that you have a negative thought or fear about the future or anything in your life that you worry about? Again, this is very powerful. When you practice this breathing strategy over time, it does two powerful things. One, it actually brings in more oxygen in our lives. And unfortunately, the average person is walking around in a constant state of fear and anxiety, stress. And so when we're stressed, we don't breathe. We breathe shallow. And it's like, oh my gosh, we're fearful of everything and the stupid mistakes that we made in the past, current situations that we're going through in the present, or fear of the future. So again, this is very powerful to use this breathing technique every time you have a negative thought. You want oxygen. It's the most important thing, second to food and water. We must breathe in more so we get more oxygen when we're doing this particular exercise. In addition to that, once you continue to do this exercise over time, it rewires and refires a new program because your subconscious is very stubborn. It doesn't want to change your current state or behavior or thoughts. It's on autopilot. In order for you to rewire and refire a new program, you must fight fire with fire. What I mean by that is essentially you have to think everything goes your way. Everything's going to be okay every time you have a negative thought. And you do this breathing technique over and over, and what you're going to find is that your subconscious is being rewired and refired with a new bias, a new thought that you are in control. And guess what? At some point, maybe not in a week, 2 weeks, or a month, but at some point, your subconscious is going to ensure, just like a genie in a bottle, that everything goes your way. And this is an amazing thing to do because I've been doing it for so long now, and you'll be surprised and amazed on how well it works. I hope it's been helpful. My name is James Uberti. Live well, be strong, and always look for an opportunity to raise your vibration so you can live as happy and healthy as can be. Podcast disclaimer: I'm not a psychologist or medical doctor. Do not offer any professional health, medical advice, or services. If you're suffering from a psychological or medical condition, please seek help from a qualified professional. Thank you for listening and have a blessed day.